What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another a-ha remix. And as always, I'd like to thank the a-ha family who continue on this journey. And on the day I'm shooting this, I'll be posting it on Patreon. And of course, a number of the a-ha family have been Patreon members for quite a while now. And I think at least a couple have migrated over here more recently. But I also hope people are seeing this on YouTube, on my current or now 3.5-year-old channel on YouTube in 2025. And if that has happened, if that is what you are seeing right now, then justice has prevailed and I've been able to post videos again, which, if you don't know anything that I'm referring to, long story short, my channel got hit with some, quite frankly, very dubious copyright strikes, and I'm in the process of appealing it. I am cautiously optimistic that I will be successful in that regard, and again, if that's the case, about a week from when I'm shooting this, I think I'll be able to start posting videos on YouTube again, by which time I'll have a few dozen, maybe, videos to post. So yes, ultimately I'm in the process of dealing with it, but for those of you over on Patreon as well, you are greatly appreciated. And we're continuing through some remixes provided by Graham going way back. Thank you to Graham, and also to Sofia, who provided insightful notes on which ones I might want to look at and which ones are very, very close to the album track, making them less appealing as a reaction possibility. But I do have to apologize to Graham, because I'm going to listen to a remix of Lifelines that he specifically said is not really for him or for his tastes, and that is the Palace of Pleasure remix, which he described as being jazzy. Now, I get it, jazzy stylings might not be for everyone. I'm a big fan of jazz, and not just in general, but some specific subtypes in particular, whether we're talking progressive jazz or big band jazz or, throwback sort of early 20th century jazz. So yes, I do have an ear for jazz and I enjoy those stylings. Now, the degree to which that might be appropriate for an a-ha remix will obviously depend on subjective preference and indeed your interest in the genre more generally. And again, I do apologize to Graham, who will probably not be altogether fond of this reaction, but yeah, I was curious what a jazzy remix of Lifelines may sound like. As with all remixes, I wonder what they'll do with Morton's vocals. I wonder how similar to or different from the original it'll be, and given the description of jazzy, which I certainly would not characterize the album version as, I'm guessing this will be notably far away sonically from the original tune, but I am curious, so let's give it a listen. This is a remix of a-ha's Lifelines songs, plural, no. This is a remix of Lifelines, the a-ha song, by Palace of Pleasure. I'm guessing that's the remix artist or group. It, of course, could be a conceptual remix title, so if that's the case, I do apologize, but here we go. This is a-ha Lifelines, the Palace of Pleasure remix. Sounds like jazzy trip-hop, sort of. Space jazz feel.
One time to know that it's real. One time to know how it feels. That's all. One call, your voice on the phone. one time to know it can happen twice. One shot of a clear blue sky, one look, I see no reason why we
With full apologies to Graham, I think that's great. Now, again, I get it. People who love the original and people who like Aha's musical stylings may feel like that's just too weird. It's too much of a distortion of the original tune. I get that. But to the degree that you can maybe put aside your enjoyment of the original track or your understanding of how the track should sound, I think there's a lot of really interesting things happening there. Now, again, even then, I suppose it is dependent on how much you might enjoy jazzy sonics. But yes, as someone who does enjoy them, I find that very compelling, and it's one that mixes a few things. Like, as I said at the beginning, it's a bit like jazzy trip-hop, or maybe better, jazzy electronica, but there's also a bit of an improvisational jazz sound. There's a bit of a space jazz sound as well, or maybe mushroom jazz, especially that one like deep horn style flourish. Obviously there's some other, there's like a trumpet flourish in there. There's that lovely little, guitar rhythm that is extended throughout the tune. There's that very rapid fire dynamic flute style melody. And that aspect in particular, as well as the atmosphere of the song overall, it had me thinking of the soundtrack to a movie I'm very fond of now, like 20 plus years old. I think like maybe '04. But it's a Wes Anderson film, The Life Aquatic, with Steve Zissou, Bill Murray, Cate Blanchett, Owen Wilson, Angelica Houston. I think it's a really good movie, and a lot of the soundtrack has this kind of quirky, eccentric, jazzy type of feel to it. I feel like this could very much work in a scene in that film. Again, the treatment of Morton's vocals, they're kind of like flattened out, which, based on that phrasing, you might think automatically that that's not a good thing. If you're taking Morton's rich and expressive vocals and kind of hollowing them out a little bit, flattening them out, then maybe you're losing something, and I won't necessarily dispute that, but I think the way they articulate them here in the remix, it really does work, and I think this track lends itself well to this dynamic trip-hop electronica style jazz treatment So yes, I think this song works in this context, and there's a lot for me to enjoy along the way. So yeah, this one is a thumbs up for me, even if I completely understand if a lot of people, especially again, if you're not really into jazz, then it probably won't be your thing. It probably, seems just, again, too far away from the original, too much of a, playing around with the elements that make the original what it is. So I do get that, but yeah, for me, this one is a winner, and I can see it not only being in that sort of an avant-garde or kind of like a jazz club, but one that again maybe doesn't just play traditional jazz, but jazz with electronic stylings and so on. I could see it playing there. I could see it being in a soundtrack to a film. I could see it being not like a road trip type of remix, but the type of track that you could listen to while driving around and looking at the sea or scenic aspects, which again maybe the Life Aquatic is making me think of that. But yeah, this one and for me is a winner. Let me know what you think, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.